We're thundering towards the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. This round is MotoAmerica Superbike Speed Fest at Monterey. For Mission King of the Baggers here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna, Seca in Monterey, California. It's our 6th round of 9 for 2024, and race 1 is coming up on a spectacular day for racing motorcycles and racing Big V twins. Hello everyone, welcome to the broadcast. I'm Greg White, staying alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now Jason, the last time we had Mission King of the Baggers, we were in Brainerd, Minnesota, and race 2 was crazy, and we thought that that was an opportunity for Troy Herfoss, the rookie in Mission King of the Baggers, to blow this championship wide open, but it didn't happen.
It didn't happen, Greg, and in the morning warm-up on Sunday at Brainerd, Kyle Wyman went out and broke the lap record at a track that he's been struggling at, but you'll see when he comes to the line, he speaks to Jake Lewis, "I've got a problem with my clutch, go to the right of me," and you'll see out the start, that factory Harley-Davidson goes right to the back, and all Kyle wanted to do at that point was circulate, get himself some points. So we thought this is a big opportunity for Troy Herfoss as he went up underneath his teammate there. We thought this is going to be a good chance for him to get some points, only to see this happen a little bit later. He would run over, picked up that factory Indian, and finished the race, Greg, but the points gap that we thought he was going to have coming in here in Laguna was not as big as it was, as it is.
And that was the first time Herfoss has been off the podium. So here's what happened. He only got 1 point on Kyle Wyman because he tipped over and picked it up. So it's 205 to 192. The difference is simply 13 points on the back of those 4 wins apiece, and obviously the podium. But that's the story up front of this 2-horse race for the championship. But Jason, the #1 plate, Hayden Gillum, he had a great weekend last time out.
Great weekend at Brainerd. And Greg, the 2 guys in front, better be careful. You can't keep giving this guy chunks of points because he'll throw himself right back in it, especially when we go to Mid-Ohio. And the guy that is his teammate that you see standing next to him, Rocco Landers, is coming into some great form as well.
Hayden Gillum, ultra fast here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Not our longest, Jason, but obviously world famous.
World famous, Greg. And it's known for the corkscrew. Let me tell you, that turn 1-2 section for me is one of my favorite places in the world, going up over that fast hill into turn 1. 3 and 4, very flat. Then you start the climb at turn 5, all the way up to the infamous corkscrew there, turn 7 and 8, down through Rainy Corner. Turn 11, we saw a race decided last year when both of our leaders fell there, and Hayden Gillum would go on to win before that run to the finish line.
A great overhead view look, but how about a more inside look from Kyle Wyman on the Insta360 track lap? As Kyle Wyman goes over the crest of the hill and down into turn number 2. We are excited about a race on the horizon, so stick with us.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series, by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps, and by Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson, Indian, and custom V-twin motorcycles.
Back here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, Mission King of the Baggers. Take a look at that starting grid for our race #1. Kyle Wyman, Rocco Landers, and Hayden Gillum are going to be on your front row, Jason Pridmore.
Yep, and then we have Herfoss, Bobby Fong, and James Rispoli just outside of there of row 2. Crazy to see Tyler O'Hara, who's won here before, back there on the 3rd row, but expect to see him charging forward. Max Flinders, Jake Lewis, Corey West, Travis Wyman, and Ruben Chaus. See Ruben back, and Danny Spina is going to round out our field. 13 riders, Greg, here at Laguna Seca.
This race scheduled for 9 laps as the riders form up in their grid positions as we await a race start. And boy, we had a challenge race earlier today, and there were some
crazy race, wasn't it?
not bar banging, but it was
laps.
like bags. Well, anyway, so the lights are going to go red. Upper left-hand part of your screen, and when those lights go out, we're ready to get after it. As you see, one grid position empty.
Could have been Corey West as they get off the grid here. Going to be a great start from pole position. Kyle Wyman does exactly what he needed to do. He gets out front early, Greg, and he's going to lead on the 33 over Hayden Gillum. James Rispoli is going to slot himself in as Rocco Landers thought about trying to get up underneath the 43, and James gets out of shape. As you see the Factory Harley and the Vance and Hines Harley Davidsons battling for third place there. The two guys in front are running away here just early on, and Hayden Gillum gets all out of shape as they came out of turn 3.
He tried to get everything out of that throttle, but that rear tire was like, not right now, pal. As the 33 Kyle Wyman looking pretty smooth out front, and has in qualifying and the sessions. His teammate James Rispoli behind him, though, really struggling to keep his Factory Harley Davidson in the line, but all eyes on the 33 of Wyman.
Wyman gets out over the curbing and had to wait, as does, looks like Tyler O'Hara did the exact same thing. It's difficult to turn on that curb, and as Rocco Landers now slots himself past Rispoli for third. There's the Indian. The first Indian is going to be Troy Herfoss in fifth. He's going to have his hands full with Bobby Fong on the 50. Good to see Bobby Fong back on a baggers race. He just got off that superbike, and he gets right here back into the baggers.
So Kyle Wyman able to recover from the time lost, but here comes the number 1 plate. He's been awfully fast here this weekend. Has Hayden Gillum on that Revzilla Motul Vance and Hines Harley Davidson. Another look at it, left part of your screen.
Yeah, you're going to see James going to get him a big handful of throttle. He's going to get it out of shape. Rocco's looking at him. They're both doing the same thing. Rocco's bike wheelies, and how about this? Gillum just gets out a little bit wide, gets that thing snapping sideways on him and bucking up underneath. And on the right here, there you go. Now we've back to live coverage here. Two guys out at the front have started to get away.
And for Kyle Wyman, who's 13 points behind in this championship, this is the scenario that he wants. Troy Herfoss back there in 5th place, but we expect Herfoss to start advancing forward as he's got
like
Wyman's, looked like he might have put Rispoli behind him. So the top 3 go up the hill. 33 is Wyman, number 1 is Gillum, and then 97 Rocco Landers, also on the Revzilla Motul Vance and Hines Harley Davidson. And Troy Herfoss has moved his way into 4th place. The difference in points there, Jay, 12 points. So if the race was end like this, it would be a 1-point championship advantage for Herfoss. So that question for Troy Herfoss is, how can he close down this gap? But let's welcome in the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopa.
Well, our Mission King of the Baggers class had off our last round as we visited the Ridge Motorsports Park. Troy Herfoss still raced the Hooligan there, a new track for him, found to be quite challenging. He had a couple of big offs. I spoke to him after the race weekend, ahead of this weekend. He said he actually went to the hospital to get checked out. He had some trouble with his C3, 4, and 5 vertebrae, and he's pulling double duty with Baggers and Hooligans this weekend. So while he might not be feeling super comfortable, he looks like he's clicking off some pretty quick laps trying to make his way to the front of the field.
Boy, that's tough. Only, what, 11 days ago? 10 days ago?
Oh, Kyle gets all out of shape. So it just goes to show you how hard. Don't forget, this is where the baggers originated here for us at MotoAmerica, Laguna Seca, what, 4 years ago, Greg? And we were looking at some lap times from back then and how far this championship has progressed. And when you look at a 28.8, I mean, 28.8 around here is so fast. And the bikes, as heavy as they are, the way they handle, the things that they're capable of doing on them is pretty spectacular. Rocco Landers is the guy right now who's just trying to steady this gap to the front 2 guys. He basically did the exact same lap time as his teammate the lap prior. Hayden Gillum right now just kind of hanging on to the back of Kyle Wyman, still with 7 laps to go. And as you said this morning, it was a crazy Mission Foods King of the Baggers challenge this morning as you see Kyle get out of shape. They came down here into turn 11 on their way to the white flag, and Hayden Gillum went right to the inside here of Kyle Wyman, like right down to the curbing. And as that did that, it opened the door for Herfoss. Bags were banging against each other, and then Hayden Gillum ends up falling in the last corner on the last lap. Troy Herfoss was dinged with a jump start penalty, and Kyle Wyman ended up winning that $5,000 that Mission puts up.
Yeah, pretty incredible race and a good sign of what was to come. Hey, betting is now available for MotoAmerica fans. Go to nxtbets.com/playma, nxtbets.com/playma. And for more information, visit MotoAmerica.com. All right, so 5.5 laps to go here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Mission King of the Baggers, race number 1. Kyle Wyman leading Hayden Gillum by that half a second margin. And Rocco Landers trying to hold off the advances of Troy Herfoster, championship points leader. Bobby Fong back there in 5th place with Rispoli in 6th. And fan favorite Max Flinders in 7th.
Yeah, right now Troy Herfoster with the fastest lap of the race that last time through at 28.7. It's only a 10th quicker than what Kyle Wyman has gone, but for Troy Herfoster right now, he would love to get to the back of the 97 and get still those points away, the 16 points that comes along with 3rd points as Rocco continues to charge down the hill. What you have, Hannah?
Yeah, Rocco Landers is definitely making a big step forward, especially after Brainerd. He said things really clicked for him. It's a track he likes, so he was finally able to figure out how he likes to ride the bagger. He told me he had to develop an entirely different riding style from this motorcycle compared to the sport bikes we've seen him winning championships on in the past. He said for him it's a point and shoot kind of bike, but he finds that he needs to carry roll speed and turn it with the rear.
Yeah, and talking to Rocco as well earlier this weekend, he said basically the same thing to me, but it's about that confidence level for him as Kyle Wyman comes across the stripe, Jay, a 128.482. So fastest lap of the race so far for the New York native, Kyle Wyman, with Hayden Gillum going his fastest lap of the race. Rocco Landers going his fastest lap of the race, as is Troy Herfoss. So Herfoss was 0.2 of a second quicker than Rocco Landers and Hayden Gillum in front of him, but he was 0.2 of a second slower than Kyle Wyman up the road as we see some debris laying on the racetrack.
Yeah, I just think that this guy, once he gets into a rhythm and he realizes that he doesn't have a lot of heat from the back, Kyle can kind of just get into that flow that we talk about so often, where he can just let the bike do what it needs to do. And talking to him just before the start of the race, he kind of told me what his plan was thinking of being in this race. If he could get away and get out front, run some clean laps, he was going to be able to try to get away. That said, he thought if I get a kind of a bad start, I'm going to wait and see what people have and try not to get caught up in anything. Going back to the Rocco talk there that Hannah gave a great report on, it's always fun for me to see a young guy like him. He found his pace at Brainerd, a track he likes. Vance and Hines Harley-Davidson team did such a nice job of getting him comfortable on that bike. He's got some heat coming right now, though.
There you go.
He's going to overshoot it, though, is Herfoss, as he takes a shot at Rocco. Now Rocco's going to know he is really in this battle. But for Rocco, I think at the beginning of the year, he was a bit conservative on this bike. And now he's manhandling the thing a little bit. We've seen him grow so much from the Junior Cup days. And now he's on the biggest, heaviest bikes we have. And he looks more comfortable sliding this thing around. And he's got the 17 all over the back of him.
And don't forget, Troy Herfoss on the podium said that Rocco is what? An ambitious young man after he made an aggressive pass on him. So these two have already raced each other. And for Rocco Landers, the young racer, he is not afraid of racing it up. I mean, he actually loves it. He's really good in the championships he's won in MotoAmerica, checking out. But when it comes down to it and push comes to shove, Rocco Landers loves great competition. And so he's getting to the next level, and this is what needs to push Rocco Landers forward to continue improving in Mission King of the Baggers. As Kyle Wyman goes 128.412 now, fastest lap of the, there it is. So Jason, this is funny. This is the team and what Terry Vance was able to do after Troy Herfoss made that nice comment on the podium about Rocco being an ambitious young fella, tongue-in-cheek, obviously, on the aggressive pass he made. There were stickers made, and that's running right there on the just in front of the left handlebar of Rocco Landers' 97 machine.
And what you got to remember, that was a first and second for that Vance and Hines team that day at Brainerd, and he made that happen in the last corner at Brainerd where they go underneath that tunnel. He was able to kind of stuff his way up underneath Herfoss, and it was a great interview that Troy gave, and it's pretty cool. It shows a little bit of fun down there and the loose feeling that Vance and Hines team has. So, you know, Greg, the other thing you have to consider here is with Herfoss leading the championship, I'm not exactly sure how far behind Gillum is in the points, but he's coming off that double win at Brainerd. And right now, Rocco Landers is actually helping his teammate just in front. They are both being caught by Bobby Fong right now. But this could actually help Hayden just again, just kind of chip his way back into that points battle if that's going to actually be something that's going to happen this year.
There's a look at Bobby Fong. Now, Jason, you mentioned it, so Hayden Gillum is 70 points back in the championship.
Okay.
But the fact that Mission King of the Baggers is now a full 18-race schedule, there's still a lot of racing left in this season. So for Hayden Gillum, you know, look, until there's not enough points to earn, hope is never lost, but he's got a lot to make up. As we continue to watch this battle for third between Rocco Landers and Troy Herfoss, all of a sudden it's the number 50, Bobby Fong, on the SDI Roland Sands Racing Indian Motorcycle Challenger. That could definitely throw a wrench into the plans of these two. And of course, it's Troy Herfoss who has the most to lose in this battle in terms of the championship, because as you see the live points, sitting in 4th place right now for Herfoss on that factory Indian machine, he's got a 1-point advantage over Wyman. But all of a sudden, if Bobby Fong slots his way in there, the difference between 4th place and 5th place is 2 points, and Fong just goes fastest lap of the race at a 28.321, chasing these guys down with just a little bit too much on the braking into turn number 2.
Yeah, but he's not going to need any second invitation to go past. If an opportunity arises for Bobby Fong, he sees a podium sitting right smack in front of him right now. He lost a lot of time here, though, so back markers may have come into play in that little scenario, because he runs a 28.3 to get to the back of these guys, and now you can see he has fallen way off the back. So it is going to be a battle, Greg, with about a lap and a half to go between Rocco Landers and Herfoss. As you see, Wyman's about 1.2 seconds up the road. He went 2 seconds quicker than that of Hayden Gillum that last time by. And Herfoss is just chomping at the bit to try to get that podium.
Up the hill they go towards the corkscrew. The blind drop. It's a 5.5-story drop to right about this point, and then the total drop is about 11 stories. If you've never stood at the top of the corkscrew and looked down, it is spectacular. And when racers come here, it takes their breath away for the first couple of laps. And then it becomes just another corner to navigate.
Oh, wow, Herfoss is down.
Out wide, and it looked like he touched the dirt and went down. So Troy Herfoss, who was in 4th place, just threw away the championship lead as Kyle Wyman comes across the stripe and takes the white flag. So it's the final lap, as now Herfoss is going to try to get to his machine and see if it's rideable and salvage any points.
And with vertebrae that are not right in the back, as you can see, Hayden Gillum went wide, and Rocco Landers has got himself up into 2nd. So Hayden Gillum makes a big mistake down into turn 2. It's going to be Rocco in 2nd. Kyle Wyman with a big lead now. But man, could Herfoss get that bike picked up? That's the biggest thing with his injuries.
Boy, for Rocco Landers, that looks like that's a bag, I believe, from Bobby Fong's machine that's sitting there. But for Rocco Landers, Jay, he's only had 1 podium so far in Mission King of the Baggers, and that was in Brainerd race number 1, and it was a 2nd place finish. Can Landers get it done again? For Hayden Gillum, that big mistake, boy, it really works the tires. These 620-pound motorcycles work those Dunlop tires. Herfoss still out on the racetrack.
He got back up, didn't he?
And now he's smart. If he can get it around to the checkered flag and gain some valuable points, even if it's...
Hayden makes another mistake.
Yeah, even if it's for Herfoss getting like 4 points to get 12th place, that would be pretty incredible. But it's all about this guy right now, Kyle Wyman. He came here in dominating fashion. He's been fast all weekend. And for the 33 of Kyle Wyman on the Harley-Davidson Factory Racing Road Glide, wheel in the air, headed to the checkered flag as he has a look over his shoulder, and it's Kyle Wyman who wins Mission King of the Baggers race number 1. Rocco Landers with his 2nd podium for Revzilla Motul Vance and Heinz Harley-Davidson, and his teammate Hayden Gillum in 3rd. Bobby Fong comes across the line in 4th place.
Wow.
And we still await the arrival of Troy Herfoss, as well as Max Flinders ahead of Tyler O'Hara. So Max Flinders, 2 podiums in this class in his career, will hold on to 6th place over Tyler O'Hara.
Wow. Wow. All our championships just have these crazy things that are happening. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do what Troy did there. He still had the bike turning on the exit of turn 10 and just dropped the front wheel off the curbing into the dirt, and it was gone just like that.
So as Kyle Wyman continues his cool-down lap, we'll give you the rundown on the other side of this break with Mission King of the Baggers.
Just melted your boots. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Got it? Yeah.
Mission Super Hooligan National Championship coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. And by Roland Sands Design. Built for the ride. Go to RolandSands.com.
Kyle Wyman in for celebrations after a 2.6-second margin of victory. And rear wheels were spinning up all over the place, and late in the race, mistakes were being made. And I don't know, here's confirmation of those results. What a crazy race. So Kyle Wyman wins. Rocco Landers, his second podium in this class, in second. Hayden Gillum, third. Bobby Fong and Ruben Chouse in 10th place. Let's get to Hannah.
After a very challenging weekend last round at Brainerd and no podium for Kyle Wyman, back on the top of the box, and a perfect weekend so far for you. Pole position, the challenge win, and now the race 1 win. What has made such a stark contrast between last round and your success here?
I mean, I've been saying it this weekend and all week. Having a good Friday is key for us, and we had a really good day yesterday leading both sessions, and it just gave us that kind of step ahead we need throughout the weekend. So challenge was a little bit frustrating earlier, even though we got the win, but yeah, it just feels so good to execute a plan that I had in my head and to just not really put a wheel wrong. It just feels amazing when you can just be out there flowing like that. So Harley Davidson guys gave me an incredible motorcycle. This Road Glide is just a beast, and got to thank the sponsors: Mission Foods, Rockford Fosgate, Brembo, Proto Labs, and Olin's, all these guys that put in so much work. So thanks to them, and yeah, let's keep it going, baby.
5 wins on the season for Kyle Wyman.
And boy, it is paying off, and no matter how the start of the season goes for you, you got to fight the whole time.
Yeah, and there's just big, huge swings in this championship right now. Hannah.
Second place today for Rocco Landers and his second King of the Baggers podium ever. Rocco, you had Troy Herfoss on your tail there, but you managed to escape him and get around your teammate. What's got you so comfortable?
I mean, a combination of hard work and sending it. I'm figuring out how to ride this thing. My Vance and Hines, our Revzilla Motul Vance and Hines Motorsports team has got this Harley Davidson Road Glide working incredibly. It's kind of strange because this is a track I don't particularly enjoy, but I end up doing half-decent there. Must be the home crowd energy. But I mean, nice to see 3 Harleys up here, but I mean, everyone on our team works so hard. My chassis mechanic, Steve, Quentin, crew chief Steve, Matt, my twins mechanic who's helping us, Terry Vance, truck drivers Ray and Roy, and our fab guy. And all my sponsors, Revit, HJC, Foo Sport Boots, Superbike School, they're here. It's awesome. Thank you guys.
Combination of hard work and sending it for Rocco Landers.
I like that. That's really good, and Rocco is really starting to find his groove in Mission King of the Baggers. So this is it. 7 points now. Kyle Wyman has over Troy Herfoss, and Tyler O'Hara 66 tied with Hayden Gillum, and you can see that big gap. So this has been a toe-to-toe battle all season between Wyman and Herfoss. What a championship we have at Mission King of the Baggers in 2024.
Baggers, that last lap there, your battle with Rocco Landers, it seems like you made a mistake, a little bit frustrating of an ending for that race for you.
Yeah. It was a good start, and I was going with Kyle, and I felt like I had some good pace, but I just didn't have what he had. And we made some changes from the challenge and the qualifying that I don't know if they were quite the right direction, but yeah, these stupid freaking mistakes I keep making, it's not what I want. It's not what the Revzilla Motul Vance Hines guys want, and they keep giving me a freaking awesome bike, and I just keep screwing it up. So we got tomorrow.
Frustrating day for the defending champ Hayden Gillum, rounding out your Mission King of the Baggers podium. Jamie.
Podium, please.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. And by Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson, Indian, and custom V-twin motorcycles.
I think it would take me longer to explain to someone how this race went as opposed to just watching this.
What a start. Kyle Wyman gets that start up in the front. Was never really headed after that. You saw Hayden Gillum. I love his honesty, Greg. We both sat here in the booth watching that interview. He chased Kyle Wyman all the way through this race. The gap would get big, and then it would get smaller again. Troy Herfoss took a shot at Rocco Landers, and Rocco Landers fired right back on that 97 and was able to continue to move forward. This is a strange accident. I'd have to see it one more time. It looked like Troy got the bike a little bit loose on the curbing, and it threw the front end out from underneath him. He was very lucky to get this bike back up. He did get some points. Gillum makes a big mistake in turn 2 that we still haven't really fully seen. Obviously, he got in there deep. He did make another mistake in the chicane, but it was this guy. Stand-up wheelie at the finish line. He would beat Rocco Landers to the line by 2.6 seconds with Hayden Gillum third. This is your new points leader heading into Sunday's race tomorrow at Laguna.
Incredible day for Mission King of the Baggers, race number 1. Kyle Wyman gets to stand on top of the podium. Troy Herfoss ended up 11th with 5 points. We cannot wait to do this again. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg. Join us tomorrow for race number 2.